Hi, everyone. Namaste. I hope my sound is working. Um, Welcome. Don't mind my hair or my sweat. It's one of those days where it's really hot, but it's not going to stop me. And hopefully, it doesn't stop you from another quick, gentle yoga practice. And today, we're going to focus on a lunge position, or what's known in yoga as crescent pose. So, let's dive in. That being said, you will see that behind me I have my mat. I have a blanket in the middle of my mat because my knees tend to be a little tender. We will be on the knees a little bit. And you'll see I also have some blocks that might be really helpful in feeling out this pose for yourself and making it work for you. So if you don't have blocks, no big deal. Really, any kind of sturdy object that you can rest your hands on will do the trick. I've used water bottles in the past, a stack of books, like whatever you have on hand is wonderful. Or you don't need blocks at all. So why don't we warm up a little bit, even though maybe we're already warm, with what we worked on last week, which is our standing kind of warm up. So don't mind me while I play with the angles of this one woman show. So I will invite you to stand at the top of your mat and just find your feet, just like we did. So you might look down and make sure the feet are toes facing forward. Maybe rocking a little bit, finding a feeling of center on the foot. We can spread through the toes and really start to get a sense of all four corners of our feet rooting into the earth. And from there, we can start to think about drawing energy up. We'll feel the thighs engage, maybe those front thigh muscles kind of lift. We keep the knees soft, relaxing tailbone down. Belly engages, so belly button draws in and up as the ribs knit together. And then from there, we lengthen through the spine. We grow tall through the crown of the head. Relax our shoulders away from the ears. Turn palms out to stretch through the chest. And let's start by just taking 3 deep breaths. So big inhale through the nose, filling all the way up, and then maybe a sigh out the mouth. Releasing some heat or like mental heat, stress from the day. Inhale through the nose. Maybe a couple more sighs. And when we're ready, we can start to draw the breath in through the nose, if possible, out through the nose. And so our next breath in, let's inhale, circle sweep those arms all the way up to the sky. We might turn up our gaze at the top, looking at those fingertips, lifting the chin. And then exhale, fan the arms down by your side. Beautiful. 2 more like that. Inhale, big circle sweep. Feeling stretch in the sides of the body, maybe a slight essence of a back bend. And then exhale, fanning the arms down. 1 more just like that. Big stretch. Drinking up that beautiful breath. And then exhale, fanning the arms down. This time we'll take that swan dive. So we'll take arms wide all the way down over our feet. We'll modify my camera here. So yeah, we're in a forward fold now. And again, we're keeping the knees soft. We are pressing through the 4 corners of the feet to, again, draw that energy up, starting to feel the muscles engage in the legs. And we're kind of shooting our pelvis up and back. So almost like you're trying to stick your tailbone up to the ceiling. Yeah, legs are working towards straight. Again, with a soft bend, we might find a little sway here. Or we might be grabbing onto the ankles and pulling ourselves a little bit closer into that fold over the legs. Let's inhale. You can use your block even here if you want to rest your fingertips on. Or we can rest the fingertips on the shins, the thighs. Inhale, peek up halfway so it's a nice flat back. Collarbones spread as shoulders rotate away from the ears, and then exhale, fold it all in. Beautiful. Let's do 2 more like that. Keeping the belly engaged, strong belly button in and up as we lift up halfway, lift the gaze. Exhale, fold it in. 1 more time. Half lift, nice flat back. Pressing sit bones to the back of the room as our chest extends forward, and then exhale, folding all the way in. All right, friends, so to come to our lunge, you don't need to move probably, but I'm in a weird place on my mat, so I'm going to pretend as if I'm forward fold center. Oh, look, this works. Wonderful. So my blocks are on either side, kind of my feet. And to step into our lunge, we might need to bend the knees a whole lot. And then start to take that left foot behind you. So it can be done perhaps in one big step if we've got the room. Or maybe we need to take a couple little steps to eventually get that left foot straight and long behind us. And from there, we can gently lower the knee. So that's when a blanket is handy. Untuck those back toes. We're keeping the top of the foot flat on the floor. And then you can see that I'm on my fingertips here. My fingertips are framing that right foot, the foot that's in front. Blocks can be a really lovely tool here. So you might take your blocks on either side of the foot. If you're finding it's too intense to bring your hands down there, this just brings the floor a little closer to you. So you can play around with it, and there's different heights of the block. You might take it all the way to the highest height. Yeah. And then you'll remember that alignment is everything. So we want to look down and check it out. Make sure that front toe is facing forward, knee is over the ankle. So we're not like jutting knee forward. That's going to be kind of not as great for the joints. Our knee's not way back here. We want to make sure we have a nice lunge in that front leg. So knee over ankle. And I'll encourage you to extend this back leg or this back knee as far back as you comfortably can. And you should be feeling a nice stretch in the front of that left thigh. Yeah, so hips are square, they're facing forward. And let's see how light we can be on those palms. Let's see if we can not dump all our weight into the wrists, but really use our core, again, drawing in and up to stay light on the hands. And you might test yourself and even see if you can come to fingertips. But yeah, if we're cool here, let's just breathe for a moment or two more. I know we've been here for a while already. Yeah, relaxing shoulders away from the ears. Our spine is one long extension with the crown of our head just naturally extending from the spine. And then if this feels okay, you might stay right here, but you might also see what it's like to crawl up a little bit higher. So we can bring one palm to that bent knee. And then maybe bring our other palm to that bent knee. My head's gonna get cut off, but that's okay. So here, this is our grounded crescent pose right here. So again, we've got that nice deep lunge, knee over ankle, ribs engaged, knitting together, belly drawing in and up, tailbone lengthens down, pressing into the four corners of that foot. Yeah, and if we're feeling pretty good here, oh, by the way, this is a bit of a balance challenge. So if you're like wobbling back and forth, I might suggest that you take this front foot and walk it out a little bit wider to the side. That way we're less on like a tightrope with our feet, which is more wobbly, and we have a bit of a wider base. So you can play around with that distance. Yeah, and then if this is feeling pretty good, and again, you can like tap out and stay where you are at any point, we might see what it's like to lift one arm up to the sky. And then we can always try lifting that other arm. Yeah, so we're lengthening tailbone down, rooting again through that front foot to get really light and lift through the upper body. You stay where you are. I'm just gonna fix something. There we go. So yeah, we're up here, right? We can maybe see what it's like. There's some variations, like this is home base. And then from that home base of low crescent, we can do some fun things or add things on if you want to. So one of the things we can add on is a side bend. We can try bringing that right hand to the right hip, squeezing in our thighs energetically together to hold our balance as we take that lifted left arm up and over to the right. So we're leaning our whole upper body from hips to heart to the right side. Again, keeping that core engaged for support. I feel my butt working, my legs. This is intense to hold for this long. Yeah, and then another variation. We might bring our hands to our low back and start to puff up through the chest, kind of leaning back. It's more about lifting through the heart than jamming ourselves back. We want to feel that nice lift and extension. Support of the hands on our low back. Belly is strong, again, to protect the back area. And we might lift our gaze, turn our chin up. Take those deep breaths. Yeah, use an inhale to rise up. Last variation here. Left hand plants inside that right foot, or maybe on the block again. So it's next to that right foot, pressing into that left palm. We can take a little twist. We can start to turn our torso to the right towards that bent knee as right arm comes up overhead. Again, we want to keep shoulders relaxed away from the ears. We can follow the fingertips with where we're looking. Maybe that lifted arm is too much and we just have our hand on our hip. That's okay. And we're spinning our heart to the sky. Beautiful. Wherever you are, how about one more deep breath? And then exhale, release that right palm onto the block. Amazing work. How about a stretch for that front leg? It's been working so hard. We're just going to shift the hips back enough to straighten out that front leg. I like to come on my heel and lift my toes. But you do you. And again, my hands are on the block. And we're thinking about keeping hips in line. Hips are square, and we're reaching our chest towards those toes. Take a couple nice deep breaths here. Just breathing into any tight places in our hamstring. And you can see that my knee is softly bent. Like this feels pretty straight to me, even though it looks like it's pretty bent because I have really tight hamstrings. And so if your knee is softly bent, no worries. We just want to make sure we're feeling that stretch along the back of the leg. You guys ready for the other side? Let's do it. We can start to bend back into that front knee. Tuck these toes behind you so that the toes are on the floor. And we use that back foot to give a little pressure. We can lift the knee, press into the foot. Again, maybe stepping one big hop in. Or maybe we take a few to get all the way back to that forward fold. So feet are in line, top of the mat. Might feel really nice for that sway. Or if you need to stand up and like kick out the legs, that can be nice too. Wonderful. So again, we're going to inhale, circle sweep, arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward all the way over those legs. This time, we're stepping the right foot back. So maybe one hop or a couple, however we can get that foot back there. And then gently lowering that knee down. Now, if your knee is tender, even with a blanket under you, or this is just good to know for everybody, you almost want to think of landing that back knee almost like over or on top of your kneecap, like more so towards your hip part of your kneecap, rather than like directly on that bony part. Something about that is usually more comfortable for the joint. So hopefully that made sense. You can try it out. And then, yeah, hands can be on blocks. And we're trying to, again, stay light in the palms, knee over ankle. Yeah, and scooching that back knee enough so that we start to feel a nice stretch in the front thigh. And then from here, again, crown of the head is just a natural, nice, long extension from the spine. Finding the breath. We can start to feel kind of that scissoring action between the thighs, like they're squeezing together energetically to help us with our balance. Yeah, and then we can try it out. And again, it can be really different on both sides. So seeing how this side goes for you, we can start to crawl one hand up at a time, like maybe starting with one, seeing how that feels, lifting through the torso. Maybe we take both. And so now, again, we're lengthening through the tailbone, down towards the floor, rooting through that strong front leg to lift light out of the hips. And again, playing with the width of your base, maybe stepping that left foot out a little bit more to the left to create a little more wideness. And then, yeah, we might lift one arm to the sky, maybe both, and we might turn up our gaze. Looking up is going to be trickier for the balance, by the way, so just know that. We can certainly stay looking straight ahead. Find a couple big, juicy breaths here. Yeah, we can try that side bend. We can take left hand to the hip as right arm comes up and overhead. Keeping that right shoulder especially rotated and relaxed away from the ear, away from the neck. Let's inhale both arms up to the sky. And take that back bend. So, gotta be gentle on the back, right? You know you, and if the back bend is appropriate. But again, we want to keep those belly muscles strong and engaged for support. Our hands on our lower back can be a good support as well. We can shrug shoulders, again, away from the ears, so we can bring our elbows a little bit closer together behind us. And pressing the hips forward, we again can start to lift through the chest, gently lift the chin, leaning back slightly. Strong legs, squeezing towards the center of our body will help keep our stability here. Yeah, finish an exhale. And then we can inhale, release those arms to the sky once again. Big breath in, using an exhale to find the twist. So right palm now will ground on the earth, fingertips, maybe a block. I'm going to use one because I have one right in front of me. And then we press into that palm to leverage our chest open to the left. That left arm may or may not reach up towards the sky. I always like to kind of circle my wrist around. Feels nice for the joints. For me, at least. We didn't do this on the other one, but sometimes it feels good to like circle that whole arm around. So you can feel free to try that too. Yeah, and then wherever you are, one more big inhale to peel the heart open to the ceiling. And then exhale, hands once again frame the foot. Let's start to straighten that front leg. So we just shift the hips back. I again like to lift my toes so my foot is flexed. Hands are on the blocks. I'm going to slide mine so they're a little further back. And we just breathe into the back of that left leg. Wonderful. You guys are doing amazing. I do want to show you one more, slightly more intense variation. So if what we've been doing is a low crescent, I'm going to show you, in case you want to try it, a high crescent as well. So let's take one more inhale right here. As we exhale, bending into that left knee, bringing the foot down once again, tucking back toes behind us, lifting that back knee, so that we can use some momentum or maybe a couple steps to come all the way back up to that forward fold. It was like a little sway again, just to kind of flush out any intensity, kind of shake it off, let it go. Yeah, and so let's roll up to standing on an inhale, press into those feet, bone by bone, we come all the way to the top. Ooh, I'm getting a little head rush. And then another way that you can come into your crescent pose or a lunge is from standing. So if you are someone that when we were down, it was tough to step back, you might come instead always from standing or for right now. So it can look like this from a standing position, right? That strong alignment. We can simply take a big step or even a couple even here with that back leg, that left leg for now. So you can see the difference is that instead of lowering that back knee, it's going to be a little gentler on the muscles that way. We don't have to work as hard when we're not standing all the way up. It's not better or worse, just options for where we're at. So we can keep that back knee lifted. And again, we want to check out foundation here. So we want to make sure that front knee's over the ankle. And as we're pressing into the four corners of this front foot, we are also pressing into that back heel. So the energy is as if we were trying to pull our mat, stretching it front and back with our feet. Probably won't actually move, but that is like the muscular energy we're looking for. So yeah, strong legs, pressing through the back heel, grounding through that front foot. Woohoo! I'm losing my balance. And again, we can keep our hands on that front knee, squeezing the thighs together, engaging the core, all the same things. And maybe we can start to lift the arms up overhead. Balance challenge. So yeah, if looking up is like too wiggly for us, we can always find a spot on the floor in front of us that's not moving. That's a good way to find our balance. You want to try the side bend? We can bring right hand to right hip. Takes a lot of core strength. And then start to gently lean over to the right. Left arm up overhead, relaxing shoulder away from the ear. We can release that left hand to our low back. Again, kind of inching shoulder blades closer together, shoulders roll away from the ears, pressing into the low back to lift our chest. Maybe lift our chin. Beautiful. Finish and exhale. My legs are shaking. Let's inhale both arms to the sky once more. And then grand finale, we're going to take that twist. So I'm going to use a block because I have it. I'm going to bring that block inside my right foot. Rest my fingertips on it as I, again, keeping my heel lifted, toes facing forward. Inhale, peel our right arm to the sky. Same thing. We can always circle the wrist, maybe circle that whole arm. Or maybe we're pausing in stillness, or maybe our hands on our hip and we're just focusing on taking some nice deep breaths. Beautiful. One more inhale. Maybe you can turn your heart a little bit more. And then exhale. Hands frame the foot. We find our blocks and we take a couple or one big step forward. Right at our home base. We're right in that forward fold. One more side. We got this. So let's start to soften through the knees. Again, we can roll up bone by bone. We stack the spine. Oh, finding that nice mountain pose. And then we're going to step back with the right foot this time. So yeah, again, hands to hips can be nice for balance. Just a couple steps or one big step with that right leg. Checking out that the knee is over our ankle. Lifting that back heel so we're on the ball of the foot. Pressing through that back heel, stretching the mat north and south. Sinking low in that lunge. Up to 90 degrees in this bend. So, you know, someone could maybe have a seat on your thigh. And then we can try it out. We can see about lifting an arm or two. Always breathing, seeing if we can, especially when things get intense, stay with that deep rhythmic breath. How about left hand to left hip? Let's take a little side bend. This is real life, you guys. I fall over in yoga poses too, so it's all good. Can we laugh it off and not let it be a big deal? And just know that when we wobble, we're getting stronger. So let's inhale. Both arms up overhead. Also dripping sweat, can you tell? And then we can try that little back bend. Yep. Where do thoughts go when things get intense or when we're a little bit, disturbed, agitated? Something we don't love is happening, like a fire in our thigh or heat outside. Can we just breathe through it and talk ourselves through it? We can inhale, lift the arms, grand finale. Exhale, taking it into that twist. So use my block. Right palm comes down as I peel my left arm to the sky. Yep, maybe some big circles. Totally up to you. One more big breath in. You guys got this. Doing amazing. Exhale, hands frame the foot. Again, stepping forward. Oh, I feel like I need to stand up and do a little kick. We can take a moment to close off together in our standing position. Once again, coming back to the mountain pose. Catching our breath if we've lost it. Feeling, I don't know, maybe any subtle shifts, just kind of doing a scan head to toe. Just about 25, 30 minutes of deep breathing, stretching our bodies, spending some quality time with ourselves. How do we feel? Maybe it's a little bit different than when we started. Either way, I want to thank you guys so much for taking time. I appreciate you all. And with that, I say namaste.